Making the news tonight, Education and Homeland Security ministers say no officers with guns in schools, but a senior police official is saying otherwise.
Venezuela's Justice Minister insults TNT's Prime Minister over support for U.S. drug bust. One cabinet minister jumps to her defense.
Central Bank Governor contradicts Prime Minister on existence of Forex cartel. He says as far as he's aware, there's none.
In sports, Trinbago Knight Riders fizzled to a 7-wicket defeat as St. Lucia Kings go top of the CPL.
All eyes are on the ITCZ and a strong tropical wave to our east. I'll have the details in tonight's weather report.
Venezuela's Justice Minister is denying U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that the U.S. military destroyed a Venezuelan vessel with drugs that could have been on its way to this country.
He says allegations of the boat possibly heading to TNT as it was destroyed are all lies. On Tuesday, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio claimed that the U.S. military destroyed a Venezuelan vessel carrying drugs which was possibly on its way to TNT, and 11 narco traffickers were killed. Prime Minister Kamala Harris issued a statement right after stating that she fully supported the actions of the U.S. government. Cabello called her a drunk and further accused the U.S. of being liars, saying the White House did not explain how its naval forces determined that the boat came from Venezuelan territory, nor what procedure was used to identify the cartel, nor the nationalities of those on board. He was speaking on his weekly program last night.
For example, the stupid crook who rules the Dominican Republic and the drunk who rules Trinidad, when they... Yes, a drunk sides with this attack, they are condemning their people to be executed at sea. That's right, they are condemning their fishermen to be executed.
Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander says Diosado's comment towards Prasad Bisesa is highly offensive, and he had some questions for him.
You're calling persons' names. We don't do that here, but since if he could identify who as that, probably he's either that too, or he's a madman. It would be fair to say, if I say to him, because of what is happening now in the United States, that he's facilitating drugs in his country. Is he a drug pusher? Is he a pimp?
The fallout from a recent U.S. drone strike that destroyed an alleged Venezuelan drug vessel has deepened.
This as conflicting narratives continue to emerge between Venezuelan government statements and reports from a local independent media house there.
While officials chalk up the incident as AI generated, El Pitazo says the 11 killed were on a vessel destined for this country. Here's more. Venezuelan officials continue to dismiss this widely circulated footage of a drone attack on an alleged drug vessel shared by U.S. President Donald Trump as an AI-generated fabrication. Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello told state broadcaster VTV the footage appeared to be AI-generated and was being used by Washington to manipulate public opinion. But a report from independent Venezuelan outlet El Pitazo on Thursday is painting a starkly different picture. Journalists there spoke with grieving relatives and neighbors in San Juan de Unare, Sucre State, who confirmed that 11 men were killed when their speedboat was destroyed while en route to Trinidad and Tobago. Families have also shared photographs, names and tributes to the deceased on social media, countering the claims that the strike victims were fictitious. Guardian Media attempted to reach out to journalists attached to El Pitazo for further information. However, there was no response to our emails or calls. Here at home, digital anthropologist and cybersecurity expert Darren Dorey noted that verifying the controversial video may be harder than one would think.
It could be a real video that was run through an AI generation tool, and then when you run it to check to see if it was AI generated, it would say yes. So because we don't have the original video from the key source, there is no definitive way of stating that, hey, this video is AI generated or not. And that's the unfortunate thing. You know, we can't say yes or no based on the technology.
The contrast between government officials' denial and the human accounts coming out of Sucre continues to add to the debate over the incident. At an emergency meeting of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, Trinidad and Tobago was the only CARICOM member to back the U.S. military presence in the Caribbean.
Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers told CNC3 News that CCLAC wanted to draft a communique condemning the U.S., citing potential threats to regional security. But Sobers said TNT objected, noting there's no evidence to suggest that the U.S. action against transnational crime would destabilize the region or threaten peace. Sobers said he was not concerned that this country stood alone in CARICOM with its backing of the U.S. He said crime affects Trinidad and Tobago more than other CARICOM states, and therefore this country must do what is best for its people. The other countries that stood on the side of TNT are Argentina, Ecuador, and the Dominican Republic.
The defense minister is defending the United States' strike on an alleged drug-laden vessel in the southern Caribbean that left 11 dead. He also suggested that if the U.S.'s campaign succeeds, Trinidad and Tobago's murder rate could fall below 100 before the end of the government's term. Wayne Sturge says Washington is free to conduct its war on narco-terrorists as it sees fit, even as the opposition questions whether due process was bypassed. The minister, who has a background in criminal law, admitted natural justice is always preferred, but insists the U.S. acted within its sovereign rights.
The Prime Minister and Police Commissioner are being reminded that TNT is a signatory to international human rights treaties. This as opposition leader Penelope Beckles is leveling fresh criticism against them for their support of a U.S. strike on a Venezuelan vessel. While stressing that the PNM condemns drug trafficking, Beckles insisted the incident does not amount to a war crime. She again urged Washington to provide evidence of its claims. She also called on the Prime Minister to disclose the extent of cooperation with the U.S. in the Southern Caribbean, cautioning against the message it may send to citizens.
To easily say that you just agree with them with a violent approach, I mean, you have to think about that even in terms of your standalone legislation, and you have to think about it in terms of what is the signal that you send to the population that, listen, whatever, you just go and you go head on, and you don't care about the fact that there are laws in place for every single thing that you do.
She also challenged Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara to state clearly whether he upholds the rule of law.
I hope he maintains the position that Trinidad and Tobago has always subscribed to the rule of law. And if you subscribe to the rule of law, you understand as a country there is procedure, there is process, and we don't want to give the impression anyway in the world that as far as we're concerned, once you see this, you just kill and don't care.
But Couva South MP Barry Padara hit back at the opposition's criticism of the Prime Minister, asking where her voice was when reckless and dangerous killings occurred under a PNM administration. Calls and messages to the Prime Minister went unanswered. Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara responded to claims that he or the TTPS endorse extrajudicial actions.
When you speak without the full story, you are not informing, you are performing. And the stage you have chosen to perform on is built on speculation and not substance. Any suggestion that I or the TTPS endorse extrajudicial action is not only false, but it is dangerous.
Guevara also says it was unfortunate and troubling that conclusions were drawn from a 12-second video clip, which he stressed did not capture the full encounter between the U.S. military and the Venezuelan vessel. He also argued that lawful orders and the actions of those aboard the vessel were not shown, and warned against what he called uninformed statements that misrepresent events. Well, following a risk assessment effective immediately, Caribbean Airlines will temporarily suspend flights between Trinidad and Venezuela for the entire month of September. The airline has not publicly given a reason for the suspension. However, in an internal memo to pilots and cabin crew, the airline says it has been following a thorough risk assessment of the current conditions in Venezuela. As such, it is taking a proactive commercial decision to reduce any risk to the safety and well-being of its passengers and crew. Prime Minister Kamla Persad has come out in support of the U.S.'s military strike, which left 11 narco traffickers dead. She called for them to be killed violently. Passengers holding confirmed tickets are being advised to reach out to the airline for rebooking and refund options.
Returning to our top story now, conflicting information tonight on whether police officers will be stationed at schools with firearms. The Homeland Security and Education ministers say officers will not be armed with lethal weapons, while a senior police official says some officers will be carrying guns.
Education stakeholders say they were told officers will be armed with guns and are objecting to that move. Jensen Leven has more.
Senior police officers confirmed that armed police officers would be stationed at some high-risk schools. In July, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar announced that police officers would be deployed at high-risk schools for the new school term. The question since then has been, will those officers be armed? According to Deputy Police Commissioner Junior Benjamin, the answer is yes. But when asked at Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing, Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander had a different answer.
What I can tell you is this for sure, that those officers will be given non-lethal equipment that they can respond with in an effective manner.
Okay. So when asked directly, will they have guns or they won't have guns?
Well, again, non-lethal weapon that they can be able to carry out their duties effectively.
Earlier, Benjamin explained the rationale behind armed officers in schools. But when contacted after Alexander's comment, he indicated that as far as he knows, guns are allowed, but will await feedback from Police Commissioner Alistair Gavaro.
We are saying that as a tool of trade, it is not something that is out of the way. Whenever you see a police officer, he's normally armed. So therefore, seeing the officer in the school with his normal tool of trade is nothing surprising to anybody. It is part and parcel. They are going to have both lethal and non-lethal things. And again, it is only there as a safety precaution to ensure safety and security in the school environment.
In a telephone interview with CNC3 News, Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlett did not want to confirm the presence of armed police officers.
Talk with the police commissioner, right? Because they have the responsibility for the police, and they will explain to you what the full kit means.
Twitter President Martin Lumpkin said he is concerned about the psyche of children where armed police officers will be stationed. He added some schools are already like prisons. Now with armed officers, that may further traumatize children.
Twitter has always been hesitant on having armed personnel in school compound. As you're aware, some schools are the provider is MTS, and MTS can provide armed services as well, but that has not been done to my knowledge in the past. And we wonder why there's the need to have armed personnel on the compound of a school.
National Council of Parent Teachers Association Walter Stewart also raised concerns.
But the DCP did indicate to us as a proactive mechanism, there's going to be one officer of two that would be lethal, would be armed. The jury is still out for us as parents. We are very concerned about that armed police officers would be resident in our schools. But we wait and see what happens with regards to any negotiations where that is concerned, with regards to the Ministry of Education, the TTPS, and of course the interaction with the National Council of Parent Teacher Association.
Dr. Dowlett confirmed that police officers will be stationed at 50 high-risk secondary schools, with some routinely patrolling 10 primary and 10 secondary schools. Jensen Lavend, CNC3 News.
Well, the Education Minister is expected to meet with police officials tomorrow. Well, still to come in the news.
We make joke, we laugh. Very nice. She tell me she going, she, Mommy, I love you. I'm going, nothing going. Come back to
But Naomi Ramnarai never made it back home. Relatives blame her death on dangerous driving.
PNM-controlled corporations defend expenditure on Independence Day celebrations after criticisms from government.
Coming up in sport, West Indies under-19s fall behind Sri Lankans in Youth ODI Series.
The Spellbound Caravan is coming to you, featuring the Hive of 5, Saturday, September 6th at Gulf City Mall, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get ready to experience our thrilling interactive zone, where kids and adults explore the UN Sustainable Development Goals in a fun and creative way. Test your knowledge and get the chance to win prizes and giveaways from our amazing sponsors, photo ops with the Spellbound hosts, and so much more. The Spellbound Caravan is brought to you by the Ministry of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, Cricks Vital Supplies, Optometrist Today, and Happy Land.
The central bank governor has denied the existence of a foreign exchange cartel operating in Trinidad and Tobago.
The revelation of cartel in TNT was made earlier this year by Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, but today Larry Hawaii said as far as he's aware, there's no such thing.
The comments were made at his first media engagement since being appointed central bank governor in June, just over a month after the Prime Minister spoke of the cartel. Geisha Carlesa Alonso reports.
From our perspective, we have no evidence that would suggest there is a cartel.
Central Bank Governor Larry Hawaii is denying claims of a Forex cartel in the country. His statement contradicts what the Prime Minister had said at a post-cabinet media briefing on May 15th this year, when she announced government will compile a report on foreign exchange distribution and leakages over the last decade.
This report, as I say, will be made public to identify the main users, the main facilitators of this unfair distribution, and explain to the public how this entire Forex distribution cartel and conspiracy between certain operatives and businesses were functioning.
When contacted on the governor's remarks, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar referred us to Finance Minister Dave Tanku. We await his response. At Thursday's media engagement, the central bank governor admitted that there's a shortage of Forex, but could not say if there's now a crisis. According to him, there's a demand for $6 billion annually. He noted that a black market does exist.
I've been told that there's a black market somewhere out there. The extent of that black market, how pervasive it is, I have no real data on that.
He explained that there's also a grey market.
And what I mean by the grey market is that, for example, you may have a house to rent and the ambassador from the Netherlands might come and rent your house. And he pays you the US, but he credits your account in Florida or New York or somewhere. It doesn't come through, or it's not illegal.
He explained that the general distribution of foreign exchange takes place as a result of what comes into the commercial banks and not through the central bank. He announced that the central bank would be looking to create certain incentives to shift the grey and black markets into the normal market.
Increase the rate of interest so that businesses could get a competitive rate when they bring their money back to Trinidad and Tobago. And they have an incentive to bring it back rather than leaving it outside. So we have more US flowing into the system. Some of that may not be available for sale. It may be for the asset liability books of the banks.
The governor adds repatriation brings more flexibility for the country. Geisha Carlesa Alonso, CNC3 News.
And as the country continues to grapple with insufficient availability of foreign exchange, the central bank governor, Larry Hawaii, outlines several possible measures that can increase Forex availability in Trinidad and Tobago.
More in tonight's Business Watch.
Central Bank Governor Larry Hawaii says various ways are being explored to have more foreign exchange flowing into the local system. He is advising that TNT's consumption patterns, for instance, may have to be addressed. This is one of the ways, he says, to get more foreign exchange flowing into the country.
Because the overall level of demand will have to be addressed in some way. You know, there's a lot of agricultural products, for example, that we import from Miami, from Florida, from the United States generally, which we could produce locally. And we need to get our farmers back in business. And therefore, the overall, in terms of how we address consumption patterns, is something that we need to deal with.
The governor also spoke to issues of selective credit controls, which he says were previously used to restrict how much consumer lending banks could do.
Selective credit controls, for example. What we mean by that is that in the old days, we used to have a restriction on how much consumer lending banks could do. And we used to control it by way of moral suasion and so on. We don't have, I suppose, legislative support for doing that kind of thing right now. But we certainly could use some moral suasion to see to what extent we can limit the amount of consumption. But of course, that is an extremely difficult thing to do in a liberalized economy. As everyone knows, credit card lending didn't exist 30 years ago.
Governor Hawaii was speaking at his first media engagement at the central bank on Thursday. And now for a look at these energy and Forex prices. Geisha Kaulasa Alonso, CNC3 Business Watch.
Now to this story. A 21-year-old woman was killed in a head-on collision in Princestown that left 3 others injured.
Her parents are calling for tougher action on reckless driving as police urge motorists to slow down. Ivan Tulsi and Sasha Wilson bring us more.
Really. God give me 2 daughters, one die with heart, and then this one come and get in an accident.
21-year-old Naomi Ramnarine left her Rio Claro home on Thursday morning to go with her boyfriend and his mother to pick up a relative at the airport.
Me and she had a good relationship this morning. We talk, we make joke, we laugh.
It was really nice.
She tell me she going, Mommy, I love you. I'm going, nothing going, come back, sleep.
Less than 2 hours later, tragedy struck along the M1 Tasker Road. Ramnarine, the front seat passenger of a van which was being driven by her boyfriend, died on impact.
My son-in-law was driving coming this way. And this fella, well, appears like he was drunk because the car smelling alcohol and thing. He pulled on him on that side, on this side. He pulled on him on this side. And he tried to pull back on that side because he stick his hand on the horn. And he tried to pull back on that side and he pulled back on it.
Naomi's father is calling for irresponsible drivers to be held accountable.
Drinking on the whole, for me, is a problem. Especially for drinking and driving. I don't know, the law have to do something about this thing. How many more lives?
Now, just Wednesday, another young woman, 19-year-old Lizanne Julian, was killed during a collision involving a PTSD bus and a Honda Visual in Port of Spain. TTPS Media Ambassador ASP Owe Russell says speeding is a major factor in road accidents, and he's urging young drivers in particular to slow down.
Remember that speed kills. The faster you drive your vehicle is less your reaction time should something happen. It's less chance for you to successfully respond to an emergency.
Police Road Safety Coordinator Brent Batson says the road death figure now stands at 82 compared to 80 for the same period last year.
Data indicates an 86% increase in vehicle passenger deaths for 2025, with 26 passengers being killed compared to 14 for the same period last year, and main roads which are associated with lower speed limits accounting for 52% of road deaths. As the lead agency for public safety, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service continues to be concerned by the preventable nature of these tragedies.
Now, road traffic data showed that the highest road fatalities were recorded in May and August, with 16 deaths each. Sasha Wilson, CNC3 News.
The Port of Spain prison will be decommissioned, and while a new facility is being constructed, the prisoners there will be kept at the maximum security prison in Port of Spain. At this afternoon's post-cabinet news briefing, Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander said the building has been condemned for being unfit for housing prisoners. Alexander said issues with the building has cost the state millions of dollars for breaching the rights of prisoners. The minister was asked where the new prison would be built.
The prison presently at the maximum security will be upgraded. All right? So after that, after a couple conversations with you, then you'll understand where we're going at. Some things we need to keep for ourselves, you know. We help you sometimes with information, but some things we keep yourself.
Minister Alexander could not say how many inmates are currently kept in the Port of Spain prison, nor the current capacity at the maximum security prison in Aruca. He also could not say when the relocation would begin.
The PNM is again defending its expenditure on Independence Day celebrations hosted by the Port of Spain City Corporation and Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation. After the Prime Minister defended her cabinet minister's attendance at CPL matches, she said the PNM should instead focus on holding their corporations accountable for funds they, quote, shamelessly wasted on fetting and rum drinking under the guise of independence celebrations, end quote. But Malabar Mausika MP Dominic Romain says it was value for money.
It showed that that was missed and persons were happy to have that. And I keep hearing members of the government talk about the use of taxpayers' money and wastage of taxpayers' money. There are a lot of taxpayers who were there who were very happy, who had no problems with some of their money perhaps being used for this event, for their own enjoyment as well.
Well, TPRC Chairman Josiah Austin says the corporation is still finalizing expenditure figures, noting that corporate entities supplied 3/4 of the funding through donations and scholarships, not all of which were monetary. He added that the event followed the same format as last year.
All right, well, still to come in the news, Paria divers' families still awaiting promised $1 million ex gratia payment.
Showers this morning favored Tobago and eastern areas of Trinidad, but then the thunderstorms developed after midday over northern and southwestern areas. The showers have mostly subsided, but we can expect a few more overnight. I'll have more details on that, as well as the disturbance in the Atlantic, coming up just after the break.
Has the back-to-school shoe brands you trust. See all the new Infinity Premium back-to-school styles from only $200. Also, top-quality Fila sneakers from $350. And for the first time, Puma school sneakers from $399. Plus 4 pairs of free selected Apex socks with each purchase. Only at Detour.
Food Basket Marketplace is celebrating our 34th anniversary for the month of August, and you're invited. Massive deals like big deal peas and carrots, big deal kidney beans, buy 3 tins, get 1 free. Port Royal oil, 900 ml, buy 3, get 1 free. Buy 12 packs of toilet paper and get a pack of napkins free. Come and shop to win in one of our 34 shopping sprees. Big giveaways and free hampers to be won. Only at Food Basket Marketplace, Orima, Chaguanas, Shop Flair, and Goldfield. Food Basket, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallen Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Do you also find putting on shoes awkward? Do it like me. Put them on easily without using your hands. It's like an invisible shoehorn helping you step right into the shoe. You don't even have to bend down. Just slide your foot in and you're done. Try it. Skechers Slip. Hands free.
Hey, man. Where are you? Okay. He said 5 minutes. Anyone want dessert? Maybe he's stuck at the office? Surprise! Not yet, Carl.
Bro, I'm literally at the altar right now.
Relax. I'm almost there.
We're like the friend who isn't always late.
You have the rings.
CG United. Good like that.
Nature's Ways Alive Kids Gummies are multivitamin gummies meant to support the development of children's bodies, like their bones, muscles, joints, brain, heart, and also their immune health. Choose Alive Kids Gummies by Nature's Way because they deserve it.
Jamak, unfavorable results for the tea carol last evening. Is it going to be unfavorable weather for us in the next couple of days?
Hopefully no unfavorable results, but the weather, we are expecting a couple showers tomorrow evening, so maybe it only stops cricket though, so the game will still continue. Let's take a look at the satellite. Tropical wave number 29 has now passed, and we now look to our east where we have the intertropical convergence zone and tropical wave number 30, which has a high chance of cyclone development according to the National Hurricane Center. Now this area of expected development has shifted a bit south over the past few days, and that's because it's taking a bit longer to develop but still progressing westward towards us. Taking a look at some of the possible tracks of this disturbance, these are mostly the American models and they are tracking generally into the Lesser Antilles. However, the European models expected a bit further south, which may not be good news for us and the Windward Islands. Also, since everyone's fascinated with AI, this is Google's AI model of when it expects the cyclone to form, represented by the blue and green dots. Most of the dots begin to appear on Saturday and then move through the Lesser Antilles Wednesday or Thursday next week. So we'll see which one was more accurate next week once it forms. Now let's take a quick trip over to the Eastern Pacific, where we have Category 4 Hurricane Kiko, which has its sights set on the Hawaiian Islands. However, it is expected to weaken into a tropical storm just before landfall next Tuesday. And also just off the coast of Mexico, we have Tropical Storm Lorena, which is expected to impact Baja California very soon, but in a weakened state. Now for our local forecast for tonight, partly cloudy with some isolated showers, just the low chance of the odd heavy shower, but it's not looking too likely. Overnight lows of 24 in Trinidad and 25 over in Tobago. Tomorrow we can expect a bit more cloudiness than previous days with scattered showers over both islands. Thunderstorms are likely to develop from the late morning into the afternoon, with some lingering showers after, possibly lingering into the night as well. I'll be watching those closely, especially with the football game tomorrow. Seas are currently slight to moderate with waves in open waters up to 1.5 meters and calm to smooth in sheltered areas. Winds are expected out of the east-southeast at 10 to 15 knots, so not much change in the seas. Looking ahead, with the ITCZ fluctuating or pulsing just east of us, thunderstorms remain in the forecast. Then Saturday and Sunday we'll have some improvement with a few more sunny periods. Monday is shaping up to be mostly wet, then a little improvement on Sunday. But the forecast for early next week will largely depend on the development of that disturbance. Also, the thunderstorms for the next few days will generally favor the late morning to the afternoon. And remember, street and flash flooding can be expected with those heavy downpours as we've seen this week. We had some instances of street flooding twice in northwestern areas and once in south.
All right, thank you so much, Jean-Marc. Let's tell you what's still to come in the news. Some parents are struggling to afford school supplies as the new term nears.
It's back to school savings time at Passat the Food King. Dasani water 355 ml, 5 cases, just $95. Swiss pasta cuts 300 grams, 4 packs for $20. Ibis all-purpose flour 2 kg, 2 packs now $30. Nature Light Idaho potatoes 5 pounds, just $19.99. Universal frosted flakes 300 grams, 2 packs only $24.99. Halal minced chicken 5 pounds, just $99. Nestle Recon full cream and low fat 1 liter, 2 packs for $24.99. Sweet Hand soya oil 1.5 liter, only $24.99. Matuk's guava jam, 454 grams, 2 jars, now $25. Super Cow full cream powdered milk, 650 grams, just $32.99. Matuk's peanut butter, 250 grams, 2 tubs, now $25. Suave bathroom tissue, 24 pack, now just $34.99. Halal mince beef 4 pounds, only $99. And Fruta Cool Kids, 200 grams, 2 cases, now $100. Sale ends September 8th or while stocks last.
You don't need foul to watch God. It's in San Fernando. Queens Hall was on fire. Now we head to San Fernando at Naparima Bowl. 2 nights only. Saturday the 6th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 7th at 6:30 p.m.
I am still laughing about the show at Queens Hall. If there's a repeat, I will be there.
Tickets available at the Naparima Bowl box office from Tuesday, September 2nd, and now at usual outlets.
I rate it 10 out of 10. I laughed for the entire show.
That was a fantastic production, man. You don't need foul to watch God. San Fernando, don't miss it.
Presenting the most modern pharmaceutical facility in the country. Food Basket Hyperfarm Pharmacy Food Basket Complex, Arima. We stock the widest range of health and beauty products, baby supplies, stationery, fragrances, and cosmetics. Our organic, sugar, and gluten-free products cater to vegans and the health conscious. A wide assortment of dispensary medication and over-the-counter items at the most affordable prices. Make Hyperfarm Pharmacy your choice. Located on the compound of Food Basket Complex, Arima.
Welcome back. Chairwoman of Paria Fuel Trading Company, Nairi Alfonso, has confirmed that the $1 million ex gratia payment promised by former Prime Minister Stuart Young to the families of 4 dead divers and 1 survivor from the 2022 Paria diving tragedy has not been made.
She was speaking to CNC3 News as refurbishment works continued today at St. Peter's Private Primary School in Pointe-a-Pierre. The school was partially burnt last week in what firefighters say was arson. The 5 divers working on a pipeline at Pointe-a-Pierre were sucked into a 36-inch line. Only Christopher Budram survived. A commission of inquiry later found that the disaster resulted from criminal negligence by Paria and its contractor LMCS. But Alfonso says while legal proceedings are still underway, the new board installed in July is working to resolve outstanding claims.
On the political hustings, the former Prime Minister would have indicated that an ex gratia payment of $1 million per family would be given. I don't have any information as to what happened to that. I don't know if that was an offer or that pronouncement. I know it was not paid, but certainly we are moving to see how all of the claims can be settled in the shortest period of time. But again, in accordance with law, the insurers involved, we also have to maneuver between the insurers as well. So we are mindful and very sensitive to the plight of the families, but we also, as I say, have to do things in accordance with law.
And school principal Georgette Medford commended all the volunteers who assisted in getting the school ready for next Monday.
It is phenomenal. It is fantastic. It is renewed hope in volunteerism, in the kindness of people, the kindness of the corporate entities, the kindness of civilians, parents, stakeholders. I mean, you often hear that it takes a village to raise a child. However, we are seeing it in action here at St. Peter's. I cannot express how grateful we are for the efforts. It's a mammoth task, and we are seeing things being done that will ensure that we are ready for the opening of school on September 8th, which is Monday.
Part of the school was damaged by fire on August 22nd. A trail of petrochemical substance found at the scene led fire officials to suspect that the blaze was arson. The police commissioner is assuring a group of former SRPs that the TTPS is actively working to pay their court-ordered salary arrears stemming from their absorption into the police service nearly 2 decades ago.
That's right. The assurance came after members of the group staged a silent protest outside the police administration building today. Guevara acknowledged that the issue predates his tenure but pledged to pursue a resolution. Speaking with CNC3 News, former officer John Henry urged the commissioner to act swiftly, noting that some colleagues died before receiving the benefits awarded in February's court ruling. The group also voiced frustration over delays in receiving their pensions and gratuities following retirement.
We are asking for the commissioner to actually let it happen. We are here to let the commissioner know that we want what is due to us. We have served and served well, so it's time for us to be paid.
A Police Welfare Association President Gideon Dixon says TTPS is currently calculating officers' entitlements to facilitate payment. Well, it's now time to check in with Jovan for sport. Jovan.
Thanks, Jesse. Coming up in sport, no excuses. Senior men's head coach throws down the gauntlet ahead of Curaçao fixture. And amendments to the grandfather law on the agenda for the next session of Parliament. Find out the details when sport returns.
Your immune system is your first line of defense. Discover BioStrath Immune Health. BioStrath Immune Health is enriched with zinc, ensuring that your body stays resilient. BioStrath Immune Health. Get what you need naturally.
Food Basket. Food Basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh produce and everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale retail, everything for you. A remush, I wanna shop for go view. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh produce and everything fantastic. Food Basket, Marketplace Chaguanas, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
There's a powerful switch inside your body, AMPK. It tells your system to burn fat, balance blood sugar, and boost energy. Berberine Plus activates AMPK naturally, supporting metabolism, weight management, and healthy insulin function. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powered by AMPK, perfected by nature.
Food Basket Marketplace is celebrating our 34th anniversary for the month of August, and you're invited. Enjoy massive deals like minced beef, £5 and $99. Cow heel, £5 to $79.95. Nestle cream milk, 4 for $54.95. Crown, 8 kilograms rice, $69.99. Come and shop to win one of our 34 shopping sprees. Big giveaways and free hampers to be won. Shop, save, and celebrate only at Food Basket Marketplace, Orima, Chaguanas, Shafle, and Gulfview. Food Basket, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Welcome back. It's time for sport. The St. Lucia Kings handed the Trinbago Knight Riders their first loss at home in the Caribbean Premier League season this season, snapping a 5-game win streak. As Ian Wason tells us, the dominant performance by the Kings made them look just like reigning champs.
The Knight Riders were pegged to the back foot from the start when homeboy Kari Pierre struck early to remove Colin Monroe. They were 12 for 2 when Darren Bravo was out caught by Alzari Joseph. Pierre would finish with 2 for 31. Nicholas Pooran came in and the captain looked comfortable and sought to stabilize the innings. He sent this one high into the Taruba airspace, injecting the innings with a much-needed spark. But the Kings struck twice in the space of 3 balls. First it was Alex Hales for 9. Then Akil Hussain, batting at number 5, was out for a duck, 41 for 4 in the 7th over. And the most prized of the 3, Pooran, gone for 30 from 17 balls as TKR reel, that's 59 for 5 in 10 overs. After the flurry of wickets, Andre Russell provided some energy later in the innings, and this 6 got the partisan Lara Academy crowd going. But after joy, sorrow. Russell bowled by Tabriz Shamsi for 12, and so was Karen Pollard as Shamsi ended with an impressive 3 for 12 from 4 overs. Nathan Edwards scored 17 in the back end of the innings, taking the home team past 100. But he was the last man out, gone for 17 as the Knight Riders were bowled out for a paltry 109 in 18.1 overs. Tim Seifert illustrated his intentions from Akil Hussain's opening delivery. He took 14 runs from the first over and looked set to get this one over as early as possible. Johnson Charles tried to match him, but he could only offer a catch to Colin Monroe to give Sunil Narine a wicket, 26 for 1. A 40-run partnership followed as Seifert continued unabated. He was partnered by Akim Auguste, who joined in the fun with a 6 of his own. But finally, Seifert's time was up, caught by Hussain for 36 at 66 for 2. Auguste followed 6 balls later at 73 for 3 as Sunil Narine finished with 2 for 28. But Ruston Chase and Tim David ended unbeaten on 27 and 17 respectively, as the Kings reached 112 for 3 to win by 7 wickets and avenge their loss to the TKR almost 2 weeks ago. Ian Wason, CNC3 Sport.
Now, speaking to the media after the defeat, skipper Nicholas Pooran chose to focus on the positives.
Yeah, in hindsight, you want to get the bad game out of the way, but for me personally, I'm really pleased. We've played 5 games in a really short space of time here in Trinidad, and it's very difficult, mentally and physically. Obviously, we have an aging group on our side, and I must commend the guys for being really professional, both on and off the field, to get themselves in position to play this game today. Obviously, the results didn't go in our favor, but that's fine. 4 out of 5 games home, we're very pleased.
In other cricket news, Sri Lanka's under-17 cricketers took a 2-1 lead over the West Indies under-17s with an 8-wicket win at Coolidge, Antigua. Again, here's Ian Wason.
West Indies under-19s temporarily lost Michael Greenidge after he was hurt with a score on 4, but they permanently lost Zachary Carter for 6. West Indies 1 for 10. Skipper Joshua Dawn joined Ernestio Fontaine and found the boundary right away, and Fontaine hit 10 fours in his 51 as they took the score from 10 for 1 to 73. Then Dawn was out for 29, bowled by Jayananda. Tyreek Bryan dazzled with 2 fours in his 24, but then a procession of wickets, starting with the wicket of Fontaine. Then Bryan followed. Jayananda the bowler again, he got 4 for 33. Greenidge returned, but he was out for good this time. Then the wickets of Brendan Bodo for 2, Matthew Miller for 3, as Vignashawan Akash took 4 for 19, and the home team went from 115 for 2 to 138 all out in 39.2 overs. The visitors had little problems. Pulisha Tilakaratne looked good for his 21 before Rajai Gittins took care of him in the 4th over. Viran Chamudita remained focused, hitting another boundary. He lost another partner in Sajuna Wikanaguda for 7, but he got another loyal partner in Kivija Gamage, and together they took the visitors home. Chamudita scored 64 not out, and Gamage made 28 not out as the Sri Lankans took a 2-1 series lead when they got to 139 for 2 to win by 8 wickets. The 4th fixture of the 7-match series is on Sunday. Ian Wason, CNC3 Sport.
Thanks, Ian. Now, ready, excited, and full of energy. These are some of the sentiments expressed by Trinidad and Tobago head coach Dwight York ahead of their 8 p.m. kickoff against Curaçao tomorrow. Speaking at the pre-match press conference moments before the team's final training session, York said it's time to execute.
I'm more excited because if you're not going to get the buzz or be excited about what is up on us tomorrow, which is a very crucial game at a very critical stage for us, the World Cup campaign, and we know what is at stake. It's a high demand, high risk, high reward. And so the players understand that. You will see in the numbers the country is behind us, which is ultimately important as well. So to have that support, I have no doubt and the confidence within the players that we are ready to go.
York noted that Curaçao was full of quality and gave full respect to his opposite number, Dick Advocat, who coached Russell Latapy at Glasgow Rangers in Scotland. However, the gaffer says his group is laser-focused to start the campaign in the right way.
Well, we come up against a Curaçao team that we totally, a lot of respect. They got a very experienced manager in the helm of Dick Advocat. So we know what type of football that the Dutch bring to the party, but we need to be at our best. And as much as the respect is there for Curaçao, it's all about us. The onus is on us to make sure we get 3 points.
Gates open from 4 p.m. and there will be a robust police presence as well as wrecking in and around the game. Patrons are advised to utilize paid parking at Mukarapa West and East Secondary, along with Songforge and the police barracks. Shuttles will be available to and from the stadium. Now, as TNT begins the final round of CONCACAF World Cup qualifying against Curaçao tomorrow evening, we asked you whether you think this country's senior men will be victorious. Here's what you had to say.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT, the official supplement of the CPL.
Yeah, they should beat Curaçao. Of course, you know, Trinidad must always win. You check, we cricketers always win, so we football have to win too. We country have productivity, man.
Definitely. Definitely. I believe in Trinidad and Tobago. Because they are very talented, they're very skilled, so yeah, they can win.
Yes. We just have to put more effort into it, and that's it.
Hell yes, we go. We will. We're back in Trinidad, right through.
No.
Why?
I just feel that the other party will win.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT, the official supplement of the CPL.
Mostly positive then. Now, Cabinet has agreed to approve the Citizenship of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago Amendment Bill 2025 and introduce it to the Parliament at the nearest opportunity. The revelation was made at today's post-Cabinet media briefing. Known as the Grandparent Law, the bill is meant to widen the pool of eligible national representatives in sporting disciplines.
The purpose of this bill is to amend the Citizenship of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago Act, Chapter 1.50, to provide the acquisition of citizenship of persons born outside of Trinidad and Tobago if his or her grandparent was a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago and at the date of his or her birth.
Currently, only the children of Trinidad and Tobago citizens are eligible to gain their TNT citizenship. In an effort that has straddled administrations, the amendment has been the subject of public discussion and consultation as far back as 2022. Once it takes effect, it will allow individuals over the age of 18 whose grandparents are Trinidad and Tobago citizens to suit up in the red, white and black across a wide range of sports. Just last week, the Prime Minister revealed that consultation with the TTFA was ongoing. The amendment is expected to be introduced in the next session of Parliament. TTFA President Kieran Edwards says, despite its timing, the law can still prove a boost to TNT's World Cup campaign.
With this law being changed, we can be able to utilize grandparentage players as soon as in this final round. This will open up over 20 players out of Europe, over 20 players out of America and Canada, where players have already reached out to us because of the discussion around the grandparent law.
Interesting developments there. Now it's time for International Sport Roundup. In football, Daniel Levy has stepped down as executive chairman of Tottenham Hotspur after 25 years at the helm. The 63-year-old was the league's longest-serving executive chairman since taking up the post in 2001 and has been the subject of regular protests for his ouster by the club's fans. Before leaving, he oversaw the end of the club's 17-year title drought when Spurs claimed the 2024-2025 Europa League. In cycling, Spaniard Juan Ayuso has followed up his Stage 7 win by winning Stage 12 of La Vuelta a España. Ayuso held off Javier Romo in a breakaway sprint as Jonas Vingegaard retained his overall race lead. The final 100 meters to the finish was marked by pro-Palestinian protest flags, which didn't prove as disruptive as those which affected the finish in Bilbao during Stage 11. An illegal football streamer, Stream East, has been shut down according to the Alliance for Creativity and Entertainment. ACE says the move was undertaken in collaboration with Egyptian authorities and resulted in the shutdown of 80 associated domains, which had an aggregated viewership of 1.6 billion in 2025. And for Sport High tonight, we head to World Cup qualification as Slovakia shocked Germany. Enjoy.
Yes, what a strike. So David Strelec for that brilliant goal and Slovakia for that upset win.
I know Jesse scored one like that.
I did score one like that, but I'm telling you now, I'm calling it now, we're going to see 2 goals like that tomorrow.
Yeah, must be definitely.
All right, and then it'll be tomorrow's Sports High. All right, thank you so much, Jovan. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Dress like you mean business. At The Working Woman, we bring you stylish, professional looks made for the modern woman. From casual to formal workwear, we've got your professional wardrobe covered.
It's back to school savings time at Pasar the Food King. Creamery ice cream 1 gallon, 2 for $90. Nestlé Top Ramen chicken 3 ounces, 5 packs, now $20. Fresh Harvest peas and carrots 425 grams, 3 for $20. Creamery yogurt 120 ml, 4 for $20. Bananas only $5.99 per pound. Cookmate oats 226 grams, 4 for $20. Gala apples snack 10 for $20. Nestlé green butterfly milk 250 ml, 3 for $20. Mellow chicken nuggets 340 grams, just $17.99. Kraft mac and cheese dinner 5.5 ounce, 2 for $20. Joe Sing's noodle broad and fine 200 grams, 5 for $20. Caribbean parboiled rice 400 grams, 6 for $20. Brunswick tuna flakes 142 grams, 3 for $20. Santa Rosa chicken Vienna sausage 141 grams, 4 for $20. Sale ends September 8th or while stocks last.
Quality value, that's our way. We're here to stay. The Food King Besides.
Welcome back. Parents shopping for last-minute school books and supplies in Port of Spain today say this year's process has been one of the most challenging in recent times. They point to recent job cuts and the state of the economy. Thankful for the additional week of vacation to make their final purchases, many also told CNC3 News they've noticed an increase in prices. But one NGO says while it's rough, Trinbagonians have risen to the challenge with several programs to assist. Here's more from Crystal James and Carissa Lee.
Next week, Monday, I'm guaranteed a lot of children would not be attending school for the first week.
A reality this Moncton father of 7 is trying his best to avoid come Monday. But with his wife out of a job, Shoen Fernandez said it's been difficult managing everything on his own.
It was very hard this time here around family because I have 6 kids going to school, 4 go high school and 2 go primary. And my wife was a CPAP broker and you know we're going on with that part. So it's just I alone guiding the ship. Like school going to open and I'm now still trying to scrape up school sneakers and uniform and all these type of things.
In the past 2 months, Fernandez, a mason, said he's been working around the clock even on public holidays to make up for what his wife used to contribute and believes government made a decision about CPAP prematurely.
One of the bad moves they make, they could at least leave the CPAP until after school or come up to a proper thing before they just decide to send people home. I'm not criticizing no government to say, well, if it was UNC or PNM, but this was one of the hardest family, especially how my wife was not working.
Single mother Samantha Green, who did not want to appear on camera, told CNC3 News she was grateful for the extra week of vacation, as she only just started a new job and received her first paycheck this week.
Well, my whole salary went into bookless. I don't have nothing else.
The mother of 3 said things are more expensive this year. Also shopping was mother of 4, Faith Seaton, who told CNC3 News that she starts saving for her children's school books ahead of time. This, she said, helps her support less fortunate families through her foundation. She said at least 15 children received help from her charity, as many faced retrenchment recently.
A lot of people, they were part of the European CPAP, no work. So you find that their income was depleted and they don't even have food.
Speaking at her constituency book drive in Paria yesterday, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar told those in attendance that during the July-August vacation, many families reached out to her, asking for help in getting their children ready for school. She said she was deeply moved by these requests and very proud that they can answer the call. But the Prime Minister isn't the only one. The NGO, If There's Not a Cause, said Trinbagonians have risen to the challenge, launching programs to assist and giving out of their own needs to help those less fortunate. Carissa Lee, CNC3 News.
All right, Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party have been elected a 3rd consecutive term in government.
This comes after the country hosted its general elections on Wednesday. At the party's headquarters on late Wednesday night, Holness described the victory as hard fought and vowed to continue improving the lives of citizens.
Make no mistake about it. This was not victory by default. Make no mistake about it. This was not an easy victory. Make no mistake about it. This was a fight.
The People's National Party leader, Mark Golding, conceded defeat, telling supporters although he is disappointed, he accepts the results.
And I accept the result of these elections. And although obviously I'm very disappointed in the outcome, I think it is only correct to expressly acknowledge the success that our opponents have managed to gain today.
It's projected that the JLP has won 34 out of 63 seats. It's time to recap our headlines. Education and Homeland Security ministers say no officers in guns with schools, but a senior police official is saying otherwise.
Venezuela's Justice Minister insults TNT's Prime Minister over support for U.S. drug bust.
In sport, Trinbago Knight Riders fizzled to a 7-wicket defeat as St. Lucia Kings go top of the CPL.
And in the weather for tomorrow, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms possible over both islands.
As we leave you, let's remind you to stay connected with us on our social media platforms.
There you'll find tonight's stories, the latest updates and exclusive content. And don't forget to pick up a copy of the Guardian newspaper.
We've come to the end of the 7 p.m. news on CNC3. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Jesse Ramdale.
I'm Jovan Ravello.
And I'm Jean-Marc Rampersad. Have a good night.
You're watching CNC3.
The Doctor's Journal is brought to you by the Fitness Center,